The signal came at 3:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Dr. Alan Carter was asleep in his office at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory when the alert woke him. He stumbled to his computer, wiping sleep from his eyes, and stared at the screen in disbelief. "This can't be right," he mumbled, reaching for his glasses. The pattern was unmistakable, perfectly structured pulses from somewhere beyond Saturn. Not random, not natural. Someone was sending a message. Alan called the director immediately. "Sir, I think you need to see this." Within hours, the lab buzzed with activity. Government officials arrived in black SUVs. Military personnel established a perimeter. The president was briefed. "What are they saying?" asked General Miller, a stern woman with silver hair who appeared without introduction. Alan shook his head. "We don't know yet. The pattern repeats, but we haven't decoded it." For 3 days, the best minds on Earth worked to understand the message. Then, without warning, it changed. The new signal contained basic mathematical equations, then simple images, then something like a language. "They're teaching us how to communicate," Alan realized. On the 7th day, they received coordinates for a landing site in the Nevada desert. The world held its breath. The ship that descended from the clouds wasn't large, about the size of a commercial airplane. It gleamed silver against the blue sky, making no sound as it settled onto the desert floor. Alan stood with the welcome committee, his heart pounding. Years of studying potential alien life hadn't prepared him for meeting the real thing. A door opened in the ship's smooth surface. 2 figures emerged, walking with a strange, graceful gait. They were tall and slender, with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer. Their eyes were large, dark, and oddly familiar. "Greetings," said the taller one in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Xylox of the Galactic Confederation. We come in peace." The formal introductions went smoothly, but Alan, trained to observe, noticed something odd. The alien seemed nervous. Not just cautious as one might expect during first contact, but genuinely afraid. Later, at the secure facility prepared for the meeting, Xylox explained their history. "We have observed Earth for centuries," the ambassador said. "Your planet is unique in many ways." "Why contact us now?" asked the president. "Your technology has reached a level where you will soon detect our presence regardless. We preferred to introduce ourselves properly." Alan watched Xylox's long fingers tap anxiously on the table. Something wasn't right. That night, along with Dr. Susan Lee, the team's anthropologist, Alan shared his concerns. "Did you notice how they tense up whenever Earth itself is mentioned?" "Not humans. Earth." Susan nodded. "And they keep scanning the room, the floor, the walls, like they're looking for something. Or worried something is looking for them," Alan added. The next day, the Confederation proposed a formal diplomatic relationship. There would be cultural exchanges, shared technology, and protection within galactic law. "This is moving very fast," Alan whispered to General Miller. "Too fast," she agreed. "Why are they so eager to bring us into their fold?" When Alan asked about visiting other Confederation worlds, Xylox's reaction was telling. The alien froze momentarily, then smiled too widely. "Of course, we would be delighted to host Earth representatives." As they left the meeting, Alan caught a glimpse of 2 Confederation members speaking privately. Their translation devices were off, but he didn't need to understand their language to recognize fear in their posture. They weren't afraid of humans. They were afraid of something else, something on Earth. And Alan was determined to find out what. The announcement came 3 weeks after first contact. 5 humans would visit the Confederation homeworld as part of a cultural exchange program. Dr. Alan Carter wasn't surprised to find his name on the list. "They specifically requested you," General Miller told him during the briefing, along with 4 others. Alan studied the personnel files spread across the table. Captain Olivia Wells, a decorated Marine with combat experience and advanced weapons training. Peter Kim, a linguist who spoke 12 Earth languages and had already made progress with the aliens' dialect. Sandra Rice, a senior diplomat with the United Nations, and Jack Murphy, an aerospace engineer with a reputation for thinking outside the box. "This isn't a cultural team," Allen observed. "This is a reconnaissance team." General Miller nodded. "The president thinks the same. Your official mission is diplomacy. Your actual mission is intelligence gathering. Something isn't right with our new friends." The Confederation ship that arrived to transport them was much larger than the first vessel. Inside, the walls pulsed with soft blue light, and the air smelled like cinnamon and ozone. Ambassador Xylox greeted them personally. "The journey will take 4 days in your time. We have prepared quarters according to human biological needs." As they settled in, Jack whispered to Allen, "Check out the security protocols. 3 separate scans before boarding, and I counted at least 6 hidden weapon systems in the docking bay alone." "Maybe that's standard procedure," Allen said, but he didn't believe it. On the second day, Peter approached Allen in the ship's observation deck. The stars streaked by in ribbons of light as they traveled faster than should have been possible. "I've been studying their communication patterns," Peter said quietly. "When they think we can't hear, they use a different language. And they keep using a phrase that translates roughly to the quarantined world when referring to Earth." Sandra joined them, her diplomat's smile firmly in place despite the concern in her eyes. "I've been trying to learn about their government structure, but they keep changing the subject. And have you noticed how they never leave any of us alone? There's always at least one of them watching." Captain Wells had noticed too. During physical training in the ship's exercise room, she had tested their observers' attention by accidentally accessing a maintenance panel. The response was immediate. 3 security officers appeared within seconds. "They're scared of something," she told the others during their private evening meeting in Allen's quarters. "Not scared of us, but scared we'll do something." Jack had been busy too. While supposedly studying the ship's propulsion system, he had planted tiny devices of his own design throughout the vessel. "I've been mapping their security grid," he explained, showing a small holographic display. "The ship has extensive monitoring systems, focused inward, not outward. They're watching us more carefully than they're watching space." On the final day before arrival, Allen was invited to the bridge. The view was spectacular. A vast blue-green planet orbited by 3 small moons. But what caught his attention was a large display showing solar system charts. When he moved closer, Xylox quickly changed the screen, but not before Allen saw it. Earth's solar system, surrounded by warning symbols, and what appeared to be monitoring stations. "Your world is very interesting to us," Xylox said too smoothly. "So unique." Later, Peter managed to access an untranslated data terminal. What he found confirmed their suspicions. According to this, he told the team, "Earth has been under observation for over 10,000 years. And get this, it's classified as Class 5 restricted, inhabited by known dangerous entity." "That's us, right?" Jack asked. "Humans." Allen shook his head slowly. "I don't think so. I think there's something else on Earth, something they fear more than us." As the ship began its descent toward the Confederation capital, the 5 humans shared a look of understanding. Their mission had just become far more complex than anyone had imagined. The Confederation capital sprawled across an entire continent, its gleaming towers reaching toward the violet sky. After a formal welcome ceremony that felt more like a military inspection, the human delegation was shown to their quarters in what Xylox called the Diplomatic Exchange Center. "More like a fancy prison," Olivia muttered when they were alone. The rooms were comfortable but contained subtle security measures. Doors that only opened for specific biosignatures, windows that couldn't be opened, and tiny devices in the corners that were obviously cameras. On their 3rd day, Sandra was invited to tour the historical archives. An opportunity too good to waste. "I'll see what I can find," she told the others before leaving with her alien guide, a nervous-looking official named Kelvin. The archives were vast, with data storage systems beyond current human technology. While Kelvin was distracted by another official, Sandra slipped away down a side corridor, marked with symbols she'd learned meant restricted. Inside, she found what looked like historical records. Using the translation device Peter had modified, she searched for references to Earth. What she discovered made her blood run cold. The records showed Confederation ships had visited Earth thousands of years ago. They'd established outposts, studied the primitive humans, and planned potential colonization. Then something had happened. The records became fragmented here, but words like disaster, retreat, and unexplained phenomena appeared frequently. The final report from the expedition commander was clear. Abandon all operations on Sol 3. The planet is not what we thought. The humans are not alone. Meanwhile, Jack had taken a different approach. While supposedly admiring the engineering of the Confederation's power systems, he planted several small devices of his own design. Hybrid quantum processors that could access and decrypt Confederation data networks. That night, in Alan's quarters, Jack displayed what he found. They've been watching Earth continuously for thousands of years, he explained, showing grainy footage of Earth's oceans, forests, and mountains. But look at what they're focusing on. The surveillance wasn't centered on human cities or military installations. Instead, it monitored the deepest ocean trenches, remote mountain ranges, and isolated forests. This footage is from the Mariana Trench, Jack said, pointing to a dark, blurry image. Watch this section carefully. As they stared, something moved in the darkness. Something enormous. That can't be right, Ellen whispered. Nothing that size could exist without us knowing. Peter had made his own discovery while studying alien language patterns. They have a whole classification system for Earth organisms that doesn't match any known Earth species, he explained. They talk about the ancients and the sleepers and the first ones. Olivia, who had been mapping the security protocols around their quarters, joined them with news. They're planning to move us to a more secure facility tomorrow. I overheard 2 guards talking. They're worried we've discovered too much. Alan connected the pieces. They're not afraid of humans, he said slowly. They're afraid of something else that lives on Earth, something that was there before us. Something powerful enough to drive away an advanced alien civilization, Sandra added. Something they're still monitoring. We need to get back to Earth, Olivia said firmly. Now. The plan came together quickly. Jack's devices could temporarily disable the security systems. Peter had learned enough about their transportation technology to access a smaller shuttle. Sandra's diplomatic status would get them past the initial checkpoints. What do we tell our government when we get back? Jack asked as they prepared. Alan looked at the footage of the thing in the Mariana Trench again. The truth, he said. Earth has been hiding secrets from humans too. It's time we found out what we're really sharing our planet with. As alarms began to sound through the diplomatic exchange center, the 5 humans moved toward the landing bay, carrying evidence of a truth too significant to ignore. Earth wasn't just home to humanity. Something else lived there. Something ancient. Something powerful. And they were going home to find it. The escape from the Confederation capital had been closer than any of them liked to admit. If Jack hadn't reprogrammed the shuttle's tracking system, or if Olivia hadn't known exactly how to fly the alien craft, they never would have made it. 3 weeks after their return to Earth, the 5 sat in an underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. The room was lined with screens showing data they'd stolen from the Confederation, plus new information gathered since their return. The President has authorized Operation Deep Discovery, General Miller explained to the assembled group. You 5 will lead the investigation, with full military and scientific support. Ellen studied the satellite imagery of the Mariana Trench. We need to start here. Whatever the Confederation saw, it's still down there. The submersible was the most advanced ever built, capable of withstanding pressures that would crush conventional vessels. As it descended into the darkness, Alan and Olivia watched through reinforced windows while Jack monitored the sensors. "We're passing 30,000 feet," Jack announced. "Deeper than any official exploration has gone before." "Official?" Alan asked. "According to Confederation records, they'd been down here many times." The lights from the submersible cut through the black water, revealing strange formations on the ocean floor. What at first looked like natural rock structures began to take on disturbing patterns. "Those aren't natural," Olivia said, pointing to what appeared to be massive stone columns. "Those were built." As they moved closer, the true scale became apparent. The columns were hundreds of feet tall, arranged in perfect circles that stretched beyond their visibility, and carved into each one were symbols unlike any human language. "The dating system says these are over 50 million years old," Jack whispered, his voice filled with awe. "That's impossible. Humans weren't even close to existing then." Something moved in the darkness beyond their lights. "Stop the engines," Alan ordered. "Turn off everything except life support and minimal lighting." The submersible drifted silently as a massive shape passed overhead. It was too big to see in its entirety, but what they could make out resembled nothing in any marine biology textbook. Its skin seemed to shift colors, and parts of it appeared to phase in and out of visibility. "It knows we're here," Olivia said quietly. Suddenly, the submersible's communication system activated on its own. A voice spoke, not in words exactly, but somehow directly into their minds. "You have returned, after so long." Back on the surface, similar expeditions made equally disturbing discoveries. Peter led a team into remote forests in the Pacific Northwest, where they found hidden cave systems containing technology that predated human civilization by millions of years. Sandra's diplomatic team discovered that many ancient human myths about gods and monsters contained precise descriptions of beings that matched Confederation records. At a secure briefing 1 month later, Alan presented their findings to the President and Joint Chiefs. Earth was home to an advanced civilization long before humans evolved, he explained. "We're calling them the Primordials based on Confederation records. They weren't extinct as the Confederation believed. They just changed." "Changed how?" the President asked. "They evolved beyond physical form," Alan said. "The entities we've detected exist partially in our dimension, and partially in others. They've been here the whole time, watching us grow as a species." "Are they dangerous?" asked the Secretary of Defense. Olivia stepped forward. "To the Confederation, yes. To us, no. At least not so far. Our working theory is that they see us as the new kids on the block. They've been protecting Earth from alien interference for millions of years. The Confederation doesn't fear humans," Alan concluded. "They fear what has always been here, the true natives of Earth." The President looked troubled. "Can we communicate with these primordials?" "We already have," Alan said. "After our encounter in the Mariana Trench, we established limited contact. They're willing to meet us properly." He paused. "They say it's time we learn the true history of our world." As the meeting concluded, Alan looked at satellite images showing strange energy readings appearing across the planet. Deep oceans, remote mountains, vast deserts. The primordials were waking up, revealing themselves after millennia of silence. Earth's hidden history was about to come to light. The meeting place was a cavern deep beneath the Antarctic ice sheet. Government radar had detected an enormous empty space there decades ago, but all expeditions to explore it had mysteriously failed. Now Alan understood why. As their specially designed vehicle entered the massive underground chamber, lights activated automatically, revealing a space larger than Grand Central Station. The walls were covered with symbols that seemed to shift when viewed directly, and in the center stood what could only be described as a throne. A figure sat there, or perhaps existed there was more accurate. It appeared humanoid from a distance, but as they approached, its form became less certain. It shimmered between solid and transparent, its features constantly changing. "Welcome, children of Earth's second dawn," The being's voice resonated in their minds. "I am Elior, speaker for the primordials." Alan stepped forward. Behind him, Olivia kept one hand near her weapon, while Peter recorded everything with equipment designed by Jack. Sandra, the diplomat, stood ready to take over if needed. "Thank you for meeting with us," Alan said. "We have many questions." "Yes," Elior responded. "It is time for answers. We have watched your kind grow from simple creatures to beings of awareness and potential. You were never meant to know of us so soon, but the Confederation's return has accelerated matters." Images appeared in the air between them. Earth as it was millions of years ago. Different continents, different atmosphere, yet recognizably their world. And on it, cities of impossible architecture housing beings of light and energy. "We were the first to achieve consciousness on this world," Elior explained. "We built civilizations while your ancestors were still small creatures hiding in forests. We explored science, art, and the fundamental nature of existence." "What happened to you?" Peter asked. "Evolution, not extinction." Elior's form rippled. "We discovered that physical form was limiting. Over thousands of generations, we transcended matter. We learned to exist partially in other dimensions, to experience reality beyond the constraints of flesh. The images change, showing beings of light gradually becoming less solid, more ethereal. Most of us now exist in pocket dimensions connected to Earth, spaces between spaces. We maintain our connection to this world, our home, but no longer need to exist fully within it." "And the Confederation?" Olivia asked. "Why do they fear you?" Elior's form darkened slightly. "They came to Earth long ago, seeing only primitive humans and abundant resources. They did not sense our presence until they began to establish colonies. When we revealed ourselves, they responded with fear and violence. We defended our home." New images showed Confederation ships fleeing Earth, pursued by swirling energies that seemed to bend reality around them. "We drove them away, but chose not to pursue. Earth is our concern, not distant stars. They have feared us ever since, monitoring this world from a safe distance." "Why didn't you stop humans from developing?" Sandra asked. "If this is your world, it is our world and yours," Elior corrected gently. "You evolved here naturally, just as we did. We watched with interest as you developed consciousness, tools, societies. You are this planet's second great experiment with intelligent life. We chose to observe, occasionally guiding when extinction threatened your kind, but mostly allowing you to find your own path." "Did you create humans?" Alan asked the question that had been bothering him. "No, but we have protected you. From cosmic disasters, from premature alien contact, from yourselves, occasionally." Alan thought about human myths of guardian angels, of gods intervening in human affairs, of strange lights and unexplained phenomena throughout history. "The Confederation has returned." Elior's tone grew serious. "Not for peaceful exchange, but to eliminate what they fear. They see our existence as an aberration in the universal order. And now they see you as contaminated by our presence." "What do they plan to do?" Olivia demanded. "They are preparing what they call a cleansing operation. Their fleet gathers beyond your solar system even now." Alan looked at his team, understanding dawning on their faces. The cultural exchange, the diplomatic overtures, all had been a cover to assess Earth's defenses. "We need your help," Alan said simply. "And we need yours," Elior responded. "The time for separation between Earth's children has ended. Together, we face a common threat." Outside the cavern, the Antarctic winds howled, but inside, an alliance older than human civilization was being forged. The command center beneath the Rocky Mountains buzzed with activity. Screens displayed real-time feeds from hastily deployed space telescopes. The images showed what everyone had feared: a Confederation fleet assembling at the edge of the solar system. 57 ships and counting, General Miller announced grimly. More arriving every hour. Ellen studied the alien vessels. They were massive, each one capable of destroying a major city. Earth's military forces, even combined, would be helpless against such technology. They're positioning for a full orbital assault, Olivia pointed out. Classic encirclement strategy. A communication request flashed on the main screen. Ambassador Xylox's face appeared, his expression severe. Dr. Carter, I must speak with your planet's leaders immediately. Within an hour, a video conference connected world leaders with the Confederation ambassador. Sandra stood beside the president, whispering translations and suggestions. We have detected dangerous energy signatures across your planet, Xylox stated without preamble. The entities you call primordials are a cosmic anomaly that threatens universal stability. They must be removed. They've lived here peacefully for millions of years, the president responded. This is their home world. They are dangerous perversions of natural law, Xylox insisted. Their ability to exist across dimensional boundaries creates weakening points in reality itself. We have monitored the damage for millennia. This sounds like your problem, not ours, the Russian president said bluntly. Xylox's expression hardened. We had hoped for cooperation. Earth itself is valuable, rich in resources, perfectly positioned in your solar system. The Confederation would welcome humans as a client species. We can relocate your populations before the cleansing operation. The meaning was clear. Surrender the primordials or face destruction alongside them. We need time to consider, the American president said carefully. This is not a decision any one leader can make. You have 48 hours, Xylox replied before ending the transmission. In a secure room below the command center, Alan and his team met with Elior. The primordial's form seemed more solid than before, as if gathering energy for what was to come. They will not negotiate in good faith, Elior stated. The Confederation has feared us for too long. They will destroy this world rather than allow us to exist. Can you fight them? Olivia asked. We have power they cannot comprehend, but we are few now. Many of our kind have evolved beyond interest in physical reality. Those of us who maintain connection to Earth number less than 1,000. Jack, who had been working with primordial technology recovered from underwater sites, spoke up. What if we combine our approaches? Earth's military technology guided by primordial energy manipulation. Peter nodded excitedly. A hybrid defense system. We use human innovation with primordial power. For the next 40 hours, humans and primordials worked together. Military satellites were modified with crystalline components from ancient primordial technology. Underground installations hummed with energy as primordial beings interfaced with human computers. When the deadline arrived, the president addressed the Confederation again. Earth refuses your terms. This planet belongs to both its native intelligent species, humans, and primordials. We stand together. Xylox's face showed no surprise. Then you have chosen extinction. The cleansing begins. The Confederation fleet moved inward from the outer solar system. Their weapons powered up, capable of cracking Earth's crust and boiling away its oceans. In the command center, Alan watched the approaching ships with a strange calm. Beside him, Elior's form pulsed with energy. Are we ready? Alan asked. We are, Elior replied. For millennia, we have hidden our true capabilities. We maintained balance by appearing just threatening enough to keep the Confederation at bay, without revealing our full power. And now we show them why Earth has always been forbidden territory. Jack activated the newly created defense grid. Around the planet, ancient structures long hidden under ocean floors and mountain ranges hummed to life. The primordials, fully awakened from their long dormancy, channeled power through these structures. As the Confederation fired their first weapons, reality itself seemed to bend around Earth. Their energy beams curved away into empty space. Attempt after attempt failed to penetrate the shimmering barrier now surrounding the planet. Time to push back, Olivia said. Alan nodded to Elior. Show them why they were right to be afraid. The counterattack began. Not with missiles or energy weapons, but with something far more terrifying to the Confederation: cracks in the very fabric of space, controlled and directed by the primordials. The invasion had begun, but not in the way the Confederation had planned. The Confederation flagship shuddered as another dimensional rift opened beside it. 3 of their support vessels had already been pulled into these controlled tiers in reality, disappearing to unknown destinations. Admiral Vex, Supreme Commander of the Cleansing Fleet, watched in horror as his carefully planned attack collapsed. "Impossible," he whispered. "Their power should have faded millennia ago." On Earth, the combined human primordial defense network operated beyond anyone's expectations. Jack and Peter coordinated from the Mountain Command Center, directing the flow of information between military satellites and primordial energy nodes. Screens showed Confederation ships retreating, regrouping, then attempting new attack formations, only to be thwarted again. "They're trying to find a weak point in our coverage," Olivia noted, watching the tactical display. "But there isn't one." Alan stood with Elior, whose form now blazed with light so intense that most humans in the room wore protective glasses. Other primordials had manifested throughout the facility, their energy forms interfacing directly with human technology. "We should press our advantage," General Miller suggested. "Push them out of the solar system entirely." Elior's voice resonated through the room. "No, destruction is not our goal. Understanding is." Sandra, who had been monitoring Confederation communications, looked up from her station. "They're sending a request for parley. Admiral Vex wants to speak directly with Earth leadership." The meeting took place in Earth's orbit. A neutral space station hastily modified with both human and primordial technology hosted the delegation. The Confederation representatives entered cautiously, their eyes darting nervously at the shimmering primordial forms that floated alongside the human delegation. Admiral Vex, a tall, severe-looking alien with deep purple skin, addressed them formally. "The Confederation acknowledges the unexpected defense capabilities of Earth. We propose a cessation of hostilities." "You mean you're surrendering?" Olivia said bluntly. "Adjusting our approach," Vex corrected stiffly. "The primordial presence is stronger than our historical records indicated." Sandra stepped forward as Earth's chief diplomat. "Let's be clear. You came to cleanse our planet of beings who have existed here peacefully for millions of years. You threatened genocide against 2 native species of Earth." "We believe the primordials were a cosmic threat," Vex insisted. "Their ability to manipulate dimensional boundaries violates natural law." "Your understanding of natural law is limited." Elior's voice was calm but powerful. "Life evolves in many directions. Our path led to energy and multi-dimensional existence. Yours led to physical technology. Neither is wrong." Alan watched as understanding slowly dawned on the Admiral's face. The Confederation had built its entire understanding of the universe on certain assumptions the primordials disproved simply by existing. "We propose a new relationship," Sandra continued. "Earth will take its place in the galactic community, not as a client world or a quarantine zone, but as an equal partner. Humans and primordials together represent this planet." The negotiations lasted 3 days. When they concluded, the solar system had been formally recognized as sovereign territory of the Earth Alliance, the first official partnership between humans and primordials. As the Confederation fleet departed, Alan stood at the observation window with Olivia, watching the stars. "What happens now?" she asked. "We rebuild," Alan said. "Not just our defenses, but our understanding of our own world." The following months saw remarkable changes. Hidden primordial sites around the planet were opened for human scientific study. Ancient technologies were adapted for modern use. The first joint human primordial expedition to Mars discovered ruins of an outpost 500,000 years old. In his new office at the Global Cooperation Center, Alan reviewed reports from around the world. Teams of scientists and primordials worked together to solve problems that had plagued humanity for centuries: energy, climate, disease. Earth was taking its place in the galaxy not as the newest civilization, but as one of the oldest living worlds, home to two intelligent species who had found strength in their differences. Sandra entered with news from the newly established Galactic Embassy. 3 more civilizations have requested formal relations with Earth. The word is spreading that we're different. We are. Alan smiled. We always have been. Outside, the sun set over a changed world. In cities across the planet, shimmering primordial forms moved openly among humans. In ancient sites now uncovered, new generations learned the true history of their planet. And in deep space, former Confederation worlds watched with interest as Earth emerged not as the primitive world they had expected, but as something much more intriguing. The cradle of not one advanced civilization, but 2.